So we're going to take a look at the Xflight XF160GL3 transient susceptibility pulse generator today. It tests equipment against the DO160G and MIL STD461G conformance standards. We're going to take a look at the two extreme cases where a unit under test will present a short circuit or an open circuit. But first of all, let's take a look at the basics. There's an on-off switch here. There's an HT adjustment knob that sets the internal voltage, which will then be used to generate the output pulse. There's an arm switch where the charge is transferred to the output stage. There's a slider switch where you can select the current or the voltage waveform, and there are two current test points here where you can see the current waveform on an oscilloscope. There's a fire switch and a pulse LED that shows that the pulse has been generated, and the output pulse is presented on the banana plugs. So let's take a look at the voltage pulse first. I'm going to use a couple of resistors here as a voltage divider just to drop the voltage down for the oscilloscope. We just put that on the output stage. There we are. And then for the positive pulse, connect the ground to the negative side and the probe to the positive side. So switch it on, and then we need to adjust the voltage. And with reference to the user guide, you can see here that if we're looking to generate a 300 volt peak level 3 pulse, then we look that up, and it means we need to adjust the voltage to around about 440 volts. So let's do that. Let's connect that wire back on. Okay, so we slowly wind this up to around about 350, 400, 440. As the voltage builds up, you can start winding it back. We're at 400, 420. Just wind it back a little bit. And we're pretty much there. So now just check the switches on the voltage side, press the arm switch, and you should see the red LED come on, and then we'll hit the fire switch. So there it goes, and we hit the fire switch, LED came on, and the pulse was generated. So the next test is the short circuit test, which simulates the unit under test in a short circuit condition. So let me just disconnect this, and I'll run through the procedure. You short circuit the output. There we are. So now for the current waveform, we need to look up what voltage setting to use. So if we want to go for 60 amps, we can see that's just over 500 volts. So we set up the HT voltage to around 500 volts. Need to make sure that we're on the current setting for the waveform. And now we connect the oscilloscope onto the current test points. There we are. Okay, so let's just move it up a little bit towards 500 volts. I'll put the oscilloscope tracings on the end of this video. Once we get to 500, press arm, then press fire, and you'll get the current waveform. So that's really all I wanted to cover. It's pretty straightforward to use. Thanks very much.